The story of Abiola Kayode is one of those fraud chronicles that traveled quietly under the radar for years until the day the whole thing exploded like a time bomb. In Ghana, Nigeria, and across the fraud circles in Dubai, South Africa, and Europe, his name was whispered in closed rooms but never spoken loudly in public. He was a type of online fraudster who understood one rule better than most of the young, loud boys on Instagram. If you want the money to keep flowing, stay invisible. And for years, that was exactly what he did. Smash the subscribe button. In Accra, where he lived for a long stretch, most people didn't even know he was in the country. He wasn't popular. He didn't rent a flashy mansion. He didn't spray money at clubs. He didn't drive a luxury car that turned heads. He blended perfectly into the quiet neighborhoods where Nigerian expats were common. To the average person, he was just another guy minding his business. But behind closed doors, behind locked laptops, encrypted apps, and special networks, he was moving serious numbers. Not peanuts, not small-time scamming, real digital crime that crossed borders and ruined businesses. What made Abiola different from the random Game Boys we see posting empty bragging videos was the level of his operation. He wasn't running those childish trick messages. He wasn't begging people. He wasn't doing the cheap-style romance scam that some boys use to catfish women with badly written messages. He was part of the top-tier cybercrime crew doing business email compromise, online investment scams, high-end romance fraud, corporate financial diversion, and the kind of international transfers that trigger alerts in 3 countries at once. He was calm, calculating, patient, intelligent, and extremely careful. In Ghana, even his neighbors couldn't tell that the innocent-looking man in the simple t-shirts was coordinating a multi-country operation involving fake corporate executives, spoofed email domains, and victims who lost their entire life savings. People walked past him every day without knowing the kind of trouble that was heading his way. Nobody suspected that the United States federal system had been tracing him for years. Nobody knew that his name was on an international target list. Nobody imagined he was one of the cyber criminals who had managed to squeeze more than $6 million out of American companies between 2015 and 2016. $6 million money that passed through banks, crypto rails, romance victims, elderly widows, corporate accounts, and multiple shell companies. Money that should have helped small businesses keep running, but instead ended up in the hands of criminals. Abiola wasn't doing these solo. He worked with a structured team. Some impersonated CEOs, some created fake invoices, some controlled bank accounts used as containers, and others handled withdrawals, laundering, and distribution. He sat in the middle, providing bank accounts, receiving funds, directing transfers, and coordinating the romance victims who were unknowingly being used as human money mules. This wasn't juvenile crime. It was organized, networked, and extremely profitable until everything collapsed. After things became too hot in Nigeria, Abiola relocated to Ghana, like many cyber criminals who believe Ghana is quieter, safer, and less aggressive in its policing. He got himself a small apartment in Accra and handled his operation quietly. No flags, no suspicious movements, no wild spending, no unnecessary attention, while some Ghanaian and Nigerian fraudsters were busy flashing iPhones in clubs and bragging on Snapchat. Abiola was playing the long game. Keep quiet, collect money, stay low, don't get noticed. But what he didn't know was that the world had changed. The FBI wasn't chasing shadows like before. They had upgraded their tracking systems. They had digital footprints, crypto forensic tools, access to deleted messages, email metadata, bank logs, Wi-Fi records, fake domain tracing, and international cooperation with African countries. They had been following the trail of his network for years. They had already arrested some of his co-conspirators, the email spoofers, the bank account facilitators, the romance scam runners. Kayode probably believed the investigation would die once he left Nigeria. But the FBI kept building his file quietly, slowly, carefully, until the day they reached Accra with enough evidence to knock on the right door. The arrest day was not what people imagine when they think of cybercrime raids. There was no drama, no chase, no shouting, no attempt to escape. Ghanaian authorities walked into the neighborhood, asked for him directly, and he stepped out like a man who had finally accepted that the road had ended. The kind of calmness he showed surprised people around. They said he didn't struggle, didn't deny anything, didn't shout, didn't even ask for time. He simply nodded, picked whatever he was allowed to pick, and followed the officers. Some neighbors were shocked that they had been living next to a man who was part of a fraud operation that caused so much chaos overseas. Others were not surprised because they always thought he kept to himself too much. But what shocked people most was how little effort the investigators needed to expose the full scale of his crimes. His phone, laptop, old SIM cards, backup drives, cloud accounts, old emails, and document trails painted a complete picture. Every conversation, every crypto wallet, every online account, every fake profile, all connected. American prosecutors later revealed that even though Abiola was extremely careful, the digital evidence was overwhelming. They had tracked the fake email domains used in the business email compromise. They traced the bank accounts he provided. They traced romance victims he manipulated indirectly through associates. They even traced the timestamps of when emails were sent, what device logged in, which Wi-Fi network was used, and how often he communicated with other members of the network. The stunning part of this case was how his operation worked. His co-conspirators used fake executive emails to order employees to send money to accounts controlled by Abiola and his partners. And the employees, thinking the instructions came from their real CEOs, wired the money immediately. One email could cause a company to lose $200,000. Another could move $500,000. American businesses bled money for months before investigators began piecing the scam together. But even worse was the fact that the bank accounts Abiola used were mostly held by romance scam victims, real humans who had been emotionally manipulated into believing they were helping someone they loved online. These victims had no idea they were facilitating international crime. They were simply following instructions because they believed they were in a relationship with the scammers. Some of them were elderly, some lost their entire life savings, some went bankrupt, others were arrested before being cleared. The emotional and financial damage was massive. This is why the FBI considers people like Abiola serious cyber criminals, not random boys chasing small money. They destroy lives, businesses, families, and the savings of innocent people. When the American investigators finished building their case, they requested Ghana's cooperation. Ghana reviewed the evidence and immediately agreed to extradite him. The process was smooth because the evidence was too strong to challenge. He was placed on a flight, escorted by special agents, and flown straight into the hands of the US system, a place where there is no bribery, no shortcuts, no big man to call, and no rescue once you enter. In the US, he faced the kind of courtroom atmosphere most fraudsters only hear about in whispers: long sentences, heavy restitution, no bail, no mercy, only cold law. Even before his trial began, the judge ordered him detained. They didn't want to risk him disappearing again. His case sent shockwaves through the fraud communities in Ghana and Nigeria. Some people who used to brag online suddenly went quiet. Some ran back to Nigeria. Some deleted their accounts. Others attempted to hide old money through cryptocurrency. But those who understand the system know that once the FBI opens a file on you, it doesn't close until the day they find you. Abiola's network had already produced several arrests worldwide. One scammer was arrested in Poland and extradited. Another was arrested in Nigeria. Another was picked up in the UK. A few are hiding, but their faces are already pinned on international watch lists. The FBI made a statement that sent chills through the cybercrime community. They said, in clear language, that they're coming for the remaining gang members one by one, no matter where they hide. Ghanaian authorities, Nigerian police, Interpol, immigration services, all are cooperating now. This is no longer the era where scammers hide in one African country and believe they are invisible. And the most painful part for many fraud boys was the realization that Abiola got caught because of digital footprints from almost a decade ago. Some of the frauds happened in 2015 and 2016, yet the FBI still tracked every detail. Time does not erase evidence. Deleting messages doesn't erase evidence. Traveling to a new country doesn't erase evidence. Investigators follow the crumbs patiently. In Ghana today, the story of Abiola is being used as a warning. Fraud may look sweet, the money may come fast, the lifestyle may look calm because nobody suspects you, but the day the system appears, everything ends instantly. No warning, no negotiation, just handcuffs, extradition, and a courtroom where you stand alone. His arrest also opened conversations about other Nigerians and Ghanaians living in Accra under the radar. running online operations from small rooms with multiple laptops. Some even use Wi-Fi from nearby cafes. They believe they are safe because they don't flaunt money. But Abiola was the perfect proof that silence doesn't save you. The FBI doesn't need you to flaunt. They only need your email, IP addresses, online accounts, or bank trails, and once they have that, they will find you. This case shook the underground fraud community so much that even some of the top boys in Dubai began reducing their noise. They now know that the Dubai police and FBI share intelligence. Many arrests in Dubai over the past few years, from money laundering to crypto scamming, prove that nobody is protected anymore. Once your fingerprints enter the international cybercrime system, your free days are numbered. Wicked Blogger Ghana would continuously give you more interesting stories and updates. Smash the subscribe button.